Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's energy reading and update for the collective, moving forward from February 12th through to the 19th. So my name is Rebecca, and if this is your first time joining me, welcome. This is the beautiful reading that I do once a week, usually on Sundays or Mondays, where I tune into the energetic themes of the week and channel any sort of advice and guidance that comes through from our spirit guides with any additional messages that we need to know to help us navigate the week and be mindful of anything that might be coming forward for us collectively. So to dive into our themes this week, we have development of self-love and care, fulfilling authenticity, awareness of neglect, where we need to rise, how can we surrender and forgive. We have a theme of planting new seeds. We have childlike enthusiasm, releasing the need for safety and protection, healing core wounds and removal of deep-rooted fear, hidden surprises and joy, and presence. So to dive into our first theme this week of developing self-love and care, this was a really strong theme that wanted to kind of move into all different areas of life this week. So we're really getting this awareness as we're moving through these shifts and changes, and we've had a lot. And one thing specifically I'm hearing to mention is a lot of us are currently transitioning from our old version of self, our old way of life and living, into this completely new one. So if you've been feeling that change, if you've been even in this experience of the dark night of the soul where everything in your world has been flipped upside down, I'm really hearing to tell you that it's going to be okay? And this is all very divinely orchestrated to help us really bring awareness to what hasn't been working in our lives. So very strong message like last week to allow ourselves to let go of what is coming forward. So if you've been getting bombarded, if you've been still feeling some residual emotion from the past few weeks and the dramatic changes that perhaps have been taking place in your life, give yourself as long as you need to assimilate that, to go through that, but also have this awareness that there is this light at the end of the tunnel, okay? So really allow yourself to take the time this week to nurture yourself. So we're learning this week, what does self-love and care really look like for me as an individual? So really prioritizing that and taking action when action is needed. So what I'm really hearing is sometimes we can get caught off guard by emotion. Perhaps we get triggered, or perhaps we've been really replaying events in our minds. We've also had this very strong theme of conflict and having to stand up for ourselves, using our voice. So if that's been a theme that has been appearing for you, sometimes that can be very jarring. And I'm actually hearing some of us, it's been traumatic. So with that, it's like, how can I allow myself to fully digest what has occurred in my life, fully digest all of the changes that are coming through for me, and how can I allow myself to be aware of them, to acknowledge them, and to feel all the emotions associated with them, but then also take action when I'm afraid, or I'm feeling discomfort, or I'm feeling low. So this is when self-care is so important, because what most of us end up doing when we get triggered is we tend to just get totally knocked off guard, where logic goes out the window. All we can do is sit in that fear-based emotion. But what I'm really hearing, it's like, what can you do? What action plan can you start creating for yourself for when you feel afraid, for when you feel low, when you feel down? What action can you do in that moment to comfort yourself, to show up for yourself, and to give yourself the care that you require? So for a lot of us, we're needing to make an action plan to protect our peace, to prioritize our mental health, and really take what we need in the moment we need it. So if this ends up happening to you this week and you find yourself in a lower vibration, you find yourself not feeling good, it's like, start getting curious. What is it that my body needs right now? What is it that I need mentally? What can help me not necessarily distract myself from how I'm feeling, but how can I be present in it and give myself the comfort and love I need at the same time? So that might look like, taking a deep breath. That might look like breath work, allowing yourself to come back to center, to come down from the trigger response, from the fight or flight, or the pain that we're feeling, and breathe through it. It might very well be taking rest, going and having a nice hot bath that helps you feel nurtured, that helps you feel cleansed, helps you feel more invigorated. Maybe it means exercise. Maybe it means yoga and movement. Really working with our energy centers this week is really called. So where are we needing to prioritize ourselves, our mental health, our care, our rest, and doing the due diligence we need to do? So I'm really seeing this due diligence come in also with our health this week. So we have a huge theme of physical health that's been present for some time. So if there is anything that your body is saying to you this week, really, really listen. And really take the actions you're being called to take when it comes to your physical health. So if that means you need to make a doctor's appointment, if that means you need to have a checkup, if that means you need to book that massage, or you need to take the actions to make yourself feel good, I am hearing you need to do that this week, okay? So really bring this awareness. Where am I hurting? Where am I needing care? Where do I need rest? And am I allowing myself to meet my needs? And what can I do to start prioritizing my needs now? Okay, so really bringing in this awareness. Okay, so that really moves into this theme of this awareness of neglect. Where have I been neglecting my own needs? Where have I been hesitant to take care of myself and actually taking those actions? And I'm really seeing this goes very deep in a lot of us. So where were you told the story that you don't matter in your life? Did somebody subconsciously make you feel that way, or consciously make you feel that way in your life experience? Or is this a story that you've begun to tell yourself? Have you prioritized everything and everyone above yourself and your needs? And where does this need to change? And I'm really seeing this come through very strongly in our physical this week, where our physical body might be alerting us and we might be not feeling good this week. That might be the story for a lot of us. So I'm really hearing, what story is my body telling me? And how can I start developing the awareness and the intuitive promptings? How can I listen to that? How can I really start listening to what my body's trying to say? Okay, so really taking action. Where have I neglected myself? Where do I need more care? And how can I claim that? Okay, so once more, this is very important. So I'm seeing a lot of us shove off where we're feeling low and we're just trying to move on, okay? But this is a really nasty habit of bypassing. So I'm seeing this awareness really coming in this week, where we have been bypassing how we feel because we've been prioritizing other things. And it's funny because they're bringing this awareness in of what we've been actually prioritizing and what we haven't. So you might actually be surprised, because what can happen is our ego once more protects us from what's uncomfortable, what we're fearing, what we don't want to go into. But this week I'm seeing this awareness come in where we're actually learning to overstep that fear, overstep the ego, and go, what is the truth? So you might actually get a shock or a wake-up call this week to what you've actually been prioritizing opposed to what you think you have. So what I'm really hearing is, where have we neglected our basic necessities? And they're very much highlighting the root chakra this week. So that is all about our safety, our security, our physical and basic needs, okay? So very, very all interconnected this week. So where do I need more nourishment? Where do I need more replenishment? Where is my health? Do I need more rest? What sort of self-care works for me? Okay? And how can I be present in my self-care? All right? So very, very strong message this week that really wanted to come through immediately. So from there, we have this amazing theme of fulfilling authenticity. So we're really doing this unraveling. This inner discovery is a continuous theme this month. And we're digging into our souls. We're learning what is true to me. Who am I now? What do I really want? And what do I want this human experience to be for me? Okay, so these are some beautiful questions to really ponder this week. How have you changed? What have you learned recently? How have you been illuminated to your goals and dreams and aspirations and what you truly want now? Because I'm actually seeing our desires are changing. From what we thought we wanted or needed is now shifting into what we truly need and want in this moment of authenticity, in this experience. And we're really beginning to dig deep into the less frivolous things of life, the less material things in life, and going into how we want to feel, how we want to live life presently. And we're beginning to truly do that, okay? Making this life experience the way we want to experience it now in the present. And this recognition of power is coming in, where we're really becoming aware of our power, how we have the power to take charge of our life, become the leader of our life, and co-create with the universe. So what does that really mean? Okay, so let's go into that. This means you are able to literally create the life you want now, and invoke the power of the universe and invoke the support of the universe to help you make and manifest whatever it is that you currently desire, okay? And we're making life about us again, okay? So we're seeing this with this self-love and care, where prior to, we might have made life all about everyone else. We might have made life about everything other than ourselves, because we might have been taught that that's what we needed to do. But now we're learning the opposite. We're unraveling these old patterns, these old stories that have said we don't matter, and we're learning we do, okay? So we're beginning to really come to this awareness. I matter too. I matter too, okay? And we're learning to come out of this period of doubt. Okay, so doubt, it might be highlighted this week. You might, when you start going into this, you might be like, oh, that's just never going to happen. Or I doubt I'm going to be able to really do that. And these are stories that you might have to fight this week. And so I'm really hearing, bring this awareness to where you're having doubts, where you're not being confident in yourself and your ability. Okay, because I'm hearing to tell you, you are a limitless being. So where have you put limitations on yourself? Where have you been putting limits on your ability to create a beautiful life? And where have you been saying, I don't deserve that? Okay, so with this, they're showing me what I call like a bubble of bliss. So a lot of times this is viewed as like in a very negative light. A lot of people are like, oh, you're living in your bubble. You're living in your own world. But what I'm actually seeing is this is actually a very positive thing. And this is something that we all need to start doing, is living in our own bubble of bliss. And it's really cool because we are meant to live a life experience that is good for us. Okay? So contrary to popular belief, life is supposed to be about you. And notice how we've been told that story that, that's a bad thing. That's a selfish thing. That's egotistical. Life isn't always about you, right? But the fact is your soul came here to be you, to live your life experience. So the truth is yes, life is supposed to be about you, and life is supposed to be lived in your authentic way. And it's amazing how we've been taught throughout society, throughout so many different platforms in life, that we aren't supposed to have power. And this keeps us in a state of being controlled and being in a victim mentality, as opposed to rising up into our own authority, into our own divinity, and recognizing that at any moment we have the opportunity to choose. So this is really coming in this week, where we are needing to really spearhead our own leadership in life and spearhead ourselves, okay? So where have we not been supporting ourselves? Where have we not been our own cheerleader? Where have we been actually in conflict with ourselves? And that can look like our dreams, where parts of us are like, man, I really want this. But then we immediately shut ourselves down and go into doubt, go into low confidence, and go into these lower vibrations that say we can't. So here we are, we're actually in conflict with our goals because we are not supporting ourselves to get there. So we might be guilty of looking for external validation. So this week, we are being really called to take action and really get behind ourselves, to be our own best friend and cheerleader for life, supporter for life, and go, you know what? Even though this might be scary, even though these new things that I'm learning might feel intimidating, we can do this. We got this. And this is what really makes me think of that term of reparenting ourselves, where it's like we now get to decide. We are the adult now. We get to choose. Okay? So we're really stepping into this recognition and ownership of our own power, that we get to create life on our terms. No more doubting yourself or your ability to do this, okay? So live in your bubble of bliss. Create this protective light around you. Visualize that bubble and create that beauty in your everyday experience. Don't let anyone burst your bubble. Don't let anyone say you're being ignorant. You're not really being aware of life around you, that what you're asking for or doing is too woo-woo or too out of the spectrum of normal. Allow yourself to live authentically and create that bubble of protection of your peace. Okay, so I'm seeing some of us be challenged by this week, or even coming to this recognition of where we've been challenged in the past, and perhaps we forfeited our peace on behalf of others, or we have sacrificed, or we have done things to our detriment. But we're choosing now with this new awareness to no longer do that, okay? So really be mindful. Where am I allowing life to burst my bubble? Where am I allowing others to take away from my peace? And how can I make sure that I reinforce my bubble of bliss every single day by encouraging myself, by supporting myself, and by being my own best friend? Okay, so do not allow yourself to slip into doubt this week. You got this. Okay, so really, really beautiful. So this is also coming through in the physical. So really was sensing a lot of back issues, hip issues. A lot of that was coming in, they were showing me a lot of the spine and kind of having this disbalance. So if that has been coming through physically for you, really go into those underlying reasons of why. And the spine itself in general really represents keeping us supported, keeping us straight, helping us stand tall, right? So where have we not been doing that? So if you've been suffering with some back problems or hip issues where things have just not been in alignment, really go into that. Where am I not in alignment? Where am I not supportive of my journey? And where do I need to make corrections? Okay, so from there we move into the theme of rising. How can we rise? So this week we have a huge theme of purging and letting go. And with that, this brings forward this element of rising out of the past, rising out of conflict, rising out of pain and suffering to release and to move forward into our next chapter. So this week we do have a lot of inner work, a lot of healing that is taking place, but recognizing that it's all coming up to help us let go, okay? So I am seeing a lot of us be triggered. I'm seeing a lot of us needing to protect ourselves in a sense of angelic protection, energetic protection, allowing ourselves to learn skills to cope when we're in a state of fear is really coming through. So they're really showing me the nervous system where we get in that fight or flight. So once more, returning to that first theme, how can I take care of myself in this moment when I am afraid, when I am not feeling my best self? What can I do in this moment right now? Okay. And what is required for you to let go and surrender? So this rehashing of the past, this rehashing of perhaps recent events is really coming forward. So they're kind of showing me someone getting kind of like gut punched, where it's like, oh, man, that might have been the experience you've had the past few weeks where you've just had things knock you and really just take you off guard and almost knock the wind out of you, okay? So I'm seeing this scenario, so take what resonates. This might be a specific message for a few of you, but what I'm really hearing is that this past full moon, it's really been illuminating where people, environments, and even ourselves have not been in alignment with who we are now and not supportive. So this theme of conflict just keeps wanting to come in here. So where have you endured conflict this past few weeks? And is it still bothering you? Okay, are these events that have been triggering you lately still bothering you? And where have we been going into a state of denial? So I feel like some of us have been putting a timeline on how we're supposed to be healed already, or how we need to let it go already, or how we need to move on. Okay, but once more, this is bringing this awareness of bypassing. So do not bypass your emotions, please, okay? This is really coming up the past few weeks. So even if you've heard the story, well, you need to be a better person, you need to be the strong one in the scenario and let things go. Do you really feel like you're ready to let things go? And if not, to know that that's okay. All right, you can take as long as you need. And this is really carrying through that theme from last week, okay? You don't have to rush this process. But what I'm really hearing this week is, how can we rise? So even if something has disrupted our peace lately, even if we've had conflict, how can I still rise in my life anyway? Okay, so how can I allow myself not to be stumped or stuck or held back because of these experiences? And they're really showing me this aerial view where it's like we start getting the bigger picture of why things occurred, and we're starting to learn the lessons that we needed to learn from the experience. So how can I collect the evidence that helps support how I want to move forward? And what I mean by that is, once again, taking stock of what did I learn from this situation? How did this happen for me? And how is it necessary so I can create this next chapter? So as an example, we've had this huge theme of using your voice. So we'll use that. So perhaps you were challenged by needing to stand up for yourself. And perhaps it was really hard. Perhaps there was a lot of slander. Perhaps there was a lot of lies told about you. Perhaps you discovered gossip or rumors or things that were very hurtful for you, and you had to set the record straight. We'll use that example. So if that's what happened, could you now look at this situation and go, okay, well, I am learning how to stand up for me. I am learning how to be in my own corner. I am learning that I am worthy of having fulfilling relationships, and I am worthy of having an environment that supports me, nourishes me, and helps me flourish in my life. Okay? Because I'm seeing a lot of us leaving behind toxic dynamics, toxic relationships, toxic environments. And this has all been to help you come to this space of self-worth, of what you truly have been putting up with that's no longer deserving of you, and really learning how to use your voice and say no. Say no to the toxicities, okay? So this is really amazing. And to come to that understanding that this has all been to help you rise. So if you've been putting forth that goal, perhaps even as a New Year revelation or a resolution, of I want to cultivate more self-love. I want to be able to go after my goals. We'll see how the universe very quickly removed those situations that weren't worthy of you. So I'm seeing this awareness come in this week where it's like, wow, okay, actually, thank you, universe, for this experience, because it's really opened my eyes. Okay, so I'm seeing this awareness come in like the deer in the headlights, like, oh, okay, this is why this has happened, and how this actually was a very needed thing and experience. Okay, so we're letting go of these stories that perpetuate the hurt, the conflict, the discord, and we're also coming to this place of understanding and enlightenment. So we need to come to this state this week. How can I continue to rise? And not to ignore the emotions, like I keep saying, but to rise anyway, to not let the experiences hinder you, okay? Because you're moving in a beautiful new direction. You're creating a new chapter. So don't allow yourself to dwell unnecessarily or too much, or stay in a state of hurt, discord, and conflict. It's like, how can I move this energy along? How can I release it from my body and stop retaining things that are not good for me? How can I just let it go? Okay, so I'm seeing this amazing purge, this amazing healing process that's happening, and we're really bringing that awareness to what we're learning. Okay, the other thing I'm really seeing here is once more this theme of guilt, where we have been telling ourselves a story that we are wrong. So once more, this is revisiting us this week. Where are we carrying guilt or shame? Where are we feeling that we did something wrong? Where are we basically punishing ourselves unnecessarily? Okay, we need to work with this emotion of guilt. We need to remove that story, because we need to see how we're deserving of good things in life now. To really let this new chapter come in and to receive it fully, we need to let go of that story. Okay, so very, very strong message. So with that, we're bringing this new awareness in. And they showed me here this beautiful garden where we're literally planting new seeds. So some seeds were already blooming, and it's like, wow, this is beautiful. This is ready to be picked. This is ready to be showcased in my home. This is ready to be enjoyed, right? And so some of these amazing seeds that you've planted some time ago are blooming. So they were showing me this state between seeing what has bloomed and planting new seeds. Okay, so where can we bring once more our awareness to the joy, to the abundance that is already blooming in our lives, and rejoice in that? And then how can we bring that awareness of what you're planting now, and what seeds do you want to plant next? So once again, we're saying goodbye to the past. We're saying goodbye to these things that have only held us back, that have hurt us. And we're beginning to focus more on what we're creating now. So we're saying goodbye to the past to step into the future. So we're really getting this encouragement to become future oriented, like getting excited about what's to come, but also being present in what is already here. So cultivating gratitude, doing activities that help you really be in the moment is very encouraged this week. And this helps us remove the fear that we might be projecting onto the future as well. So once more, with new chapters comes the trepidation of, can I do this? So this week we're being alerted to where we need to be honest and embrace our sensitivity and work through those fears. But being present really helps us be in that moment and in that experience than participating and perpetuating the uncomfortability that comes with new chapters. So really practice that. How can I be more present in my experience now? So the next thing they were saying to ask ourselves is, what direction has the universe been pointing you? And how can you take the initiative to take the steps in that direction? So the encouragement here was to make plans while also allowing for flow. So we're learning this approach to life where we're finding finally this balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine energies. And we're beginning to learn how to flow and take guided action in the right timing. So we're no longer forcing, we're no longer going guns blazing. We are allowing ourselves to drop into the ebb and flow and take divinely guided action when needed. So it's really beautiful. And so we're bringing this awareness in this week. How can I make plans, but also allow the universe to show me the way? So some things that we're being highlighted to practice this week is with your manifestations, doing some visualizing, daydreaming, and I'm also getting a lot of psychic insights are going to drop in this week for you when it comes to your future and how to move forward. So set intentions this week. If you're unclear on how to move forward or your next steps, set intentions to find your clarity. Meditate, daydream, take that time and see just what comes through, because I'm seeing that be very highlighted this week. So from there, we have this excitement that continues, this forward momentum of childlike wonder. So if there were no limitations, what would you do? You know, allow yourself to think about that. Allow your brain to go there and ask yourself, how can I follow my heart and commit with all of it? So this is bringing this awareness of sometimes this disharmony that takes place when it comes to our dreams. So we're going to discuss parts. So what they kind of showed me was a body that was one side hunched up and the other side hunched down, like in conflict and disbalance, okay? So with that, it can be explained as parts of ourselves are in conflict. So parts of ourselves want to move forward and the other parts are not ready or holding us back, holding us in this downward state. Okay, so what I'm seeing is this awareness come in this week of why. So where is this disbalance or conflict within yourself? And how can I correct this? How can I get all of me on board and fully committed to my new direction in life? So how can I follow my heart? And how can I commit with all of my heart? Okay, so what I was really seeing with this, and this might be for just some of us, but really meditate on this week. Where am I so good at protecting myself that I even protect myself from new opportunity? Where have I allowed fear to sabotage my next steps? Because what I'm seeing is these stories of I need to protect myself so I can't take a chance on anything I'm not 100% sure on. And then we also have the story, I cannot make a mistake. So then you're over planning. You're waiting for the blow in life. You're fearing the future. You're fearing life, almost planning for the worst case scenarios. It's like the backup plan to the backup plan. And recognizing how those tendencies are a defense mechanism. So we're bringing this awareness of where some of our self might be trying to defend us when there's really no need. So this next chapter that we are bringing in is a chapter of ease and grace, is a chapter of enjoyment, of peace, of really moving into your authentic self unapologetically. And, I'm not going to say that life is going to be perfect, that we're not going to have problems, conflicts, or issues, that we're not going to be required to sometimes work through hard things. But once more, it's all in how we approach it and how we view it. So if we are going to create a life of ease and grace and really enjoy that experience, we need to allow ourselves to let go of the need to defend ourselves at every turn. Because we need to make that dedication that that is not going to be our experience anymore. I'm going to remain open-hearted. I'm going to continue to live a love-based life because I deserve that. So I don't need to keep protecting myself. I don't need to keep putting on these suits of armor that only close me off from experiencing life and love in its true authenticity. So we're really coming to this awareness. Where have I been defending myself when nothing is attacking me at this time? How can I free myself from the shame that has been projected upon me for being a human being? And how can I allow myself to make mistakes, to embrace the human experience instead of fearing it? And how can I stop planning for the worst and start planning for the best? So once again, we're changing our vibrational state. When we continue to participate in fear, then we continue to perpetuate it. But when we choose to change our vibration and participate more in a state of love, the more that vibration perpetuates. So what I'm hearing is this stark, honest conversation that we need to have with ourselves. What am I choosing really every day? A state of fear or a state of love? And how can I begin to become more aware of where I'm placing my energy? So I'm seeing this inner work come through of working with our nervous systems, working with our bodies, working with that fight or flight response. And that's where that self-love is going to be the game changer, right? So every opportunity that comes up for you this week to take care of yourself, take care of yourself. Choose you, because every time you do that, that starts manifesting that energy of you being taken care of out into the universe, which makes it true. So really bringing this awareness. And from there, then we start to build the courage to really go into our dreams. We're no longer going to withhold new opportunities from ourselves out of fear or needing to defend ourselves. We're learning to embrace them wholeheartedly. Okay, so really go in and do that inner work this week. Where do I need to be open? And where have I closed myself off? Where are there still parts of me holding me back when it's now safe for me to proceed now? So with this, we have this amazing theme of hidden surprises and joy. So this week is going to be full of some twists and turns, is what I feel. And it's really beautiful because I'm seeing the world is starting to show us the potential of what life can be. Because once more, a lot of us prepare for the worst case scenario. And I feel like some of us have been stuck in that mindset for perhaps our whole lives. And now all of a sudden, when things start to really go right, it surprises us. It takes us off guard. We're like, what? This is too good to be true. This is too weird. Like it feels, the good stuff feels uncomfortable, right? But this is where the universe is helping us wake up. It's like, no, this is what life is supposed to be like. And see how we've become so accustomed to the pain, to the suffering, to the hurt in life. But now it's time to become more acquainted with love and joy. Now is the time to expect the best and watch as the world delivers it to you. Watch as you begin to claim those experiences as you open up your heart. So this huge energy of heart opening is really coming through to help us receive willingly. Because once more, when we are in a state of protection, we close off our hearts because we don't want to get hurt. But we're getting encouraged this week to let that go. It's time to become acquainted with love, with what you really deserve. And once more, don't be surprised if that experience feels uncomfortable at first, because it's requiring us to be open to it. It's requiring us to participate in a feeling that perhaps we've closed off ourselves from for a long time. So how can we start wading into that pool of love? How can we allow ourselves each day to put another toe in, to put another limb in, until we can fully submerge ourselves into that beautiful experience? So I'm seeing an amazing increase in heart-based connection. So this week, really prioritize connecting with your loved ones, connecting with people who make you feel loved, supported, heard, seen, valued. Okay, really prioritize that. And we've been getting that message a lot lately because this is all helping us continue to be open, even if we're experiencing pain, conflict, or hurt. We don't have to close off. This is what we're learning. We're learning we can still be in a state of love no matter what is going on in our reality. And people, like-minded soul connections, help us do that. So really participate in that. Who do I feel a connection with? Who helps me feel unconditionally loved? And how can I prioritize that time? So really allow yourself to open your heart to receive that love and support you're needing. And really prioritize opening up yourself to really be present in that experience. So some beautiful themes and advice that was coming through to help us practice presence, believe it or not, was removing ourselves from social media. And I don't mean that completely, but I just mean taking a break. Taking some time away from the phone, away from the busyness of life, away from being constantly needed, constantly needing to respond, and they're just showing me it's time to make life less complicated. So how can I make life more simple? How can I perhaps pre-plan things, allow myself to have time to be present in my life? So I'm really seeing a lot of us practice this by not bringing our phones everywhere we go, by pausing our social media for a time, by choosing not to respond immediately to text messages, by having proper boundaries with people or situations in our lives, okay? And restricting the energies, wherever they come from or whomever they come from, that take away from your peace. So really be mindful of that and really utilize different self-care techniques that help you be present. So once more, I'm seeing a lot about nature here. Depending on where you live right now, where I am, the weather is so nice. It's like beyond nice for this time of year for us. So it's like, how can you take advantage of being outdoors? How can you take advantage of sunlight? How can you really allow yourself to come to this state of refreshment? So with that, we're getting this removal of things that no longer serve. And I'm seeing this really be very, what's the word I'm looking for? Deep. Okay, so with that, we're removing deep-rooted fears this week. We're removing core wounds. We're healing these core wounds that perhaps have been with us our whole lives. Okay, that's huge. So with that, we need to have the awareness that we're going to maybe be tired, that we're maybe going to need more rest, that we're maybe going to need to have patience with ourselves and compassion for ourselves. So once more, what helps me do that in my life, and how can I do that willingly? So purge, allow yourself to be present, embrace how you feel, but continue to rise. I'm seeing so much of us come to this inner purpose, this state of rebirth, and it's absolutely beautiful. So don't let any of your prior experiences or recent experiences hold you back anymore. Allow yourself to continue to move forward on this beautiful journey and take that leadership role in your life to start creating life on your terms, living life your way, and make every single moment as beautiful as it possibly can be. So that is all I have for you guys this week. What a beautiful reading. I feel like this is such a transformative week for us in our journeys. So please take advantage of every minute you can and make it as beautiful as it can be. And know I'm here to support you. So if you need a healing session this week, if you need some clarity around your core wounds, what's holding you back, or some advice to help you move forward on your path and getting that clarity from your spirit team, let me know, because I am available for some appointments. So please connect with me. I'll leave my information below. And I'm sending you all so much love and light. Have a beautiful and blessed week. Bye-bye.